Hey, what's up guys? So today we're going to be putting on the radiator, the fan shroud, the transmission cooler, the AC condenser, and turbo intercooler. We need to fit all this stuff in here before we can drop the engine in to figure out what we need for our motor mounts. So I took the old condenser out. It was this guy that was laying right in here. Radiator sits right up here, and what we had here was these parts. They sat on here something like that, with the other cross member going in. What I think I'm going to have to do to make room for the intercooler is I'm going to end up having to notch these pieces. So I'm going to take it all off. I'm going to figure out what kind of bolts, holes I'm going to need to make, what kind of mounts I'm going to have to do to get this condenser in first. So it's pretty neat that the condenser is already connected to the intercooler. So that'll make my job a little bit easier. I went ahead and cleaned everything up. That's what I've been doing for the first 3 hours of the day. This thing was just nasty. This is definitely the worst one out of all of it. But we got cleaned up. I spent the morning out in the sun, out on my lawn, cleaning everything up. I'm gonna fool around with this a little bit, and then I'm gonna give you guys an update whenever we come back. Hopefully I find something that's gonna make that condenser fit in there. Okay, so that idea died pretty quick. So long story short, both the condenser and the intercooler are way too long. So I'm gonna have to trim to make these things work. I flipped it around to the other side here to kind of show you. This is where the intercooler was just kind of resting, where the piping was going to have to go in, and it's like that on both sides. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and trim all the way down this seam, and I'm going to cut the support out here. I'm going to do that on both sides. I'm going to cut this support out. I'm going to cut this support out. So what we're going to be looking at is a much larger hole coming up from right here. I started taking the wiring harness part because I wanted to go ahead and slide it out, but most of them are connectors like that. Bad news is you follow this this line up here, and there's no connector for it. It goes inside the hole for the headlight. So yeah, that was a waste of time, but I'll see if I can go ahead and just cut around it and just slide it out. I may go ahead and just make 2 notches to let this guy out, because I really don't want to cut it. It probably doesn't work anyway, but for the time being, I'm going to err on the side of caution. And I really don't want to have to cut it and then make connectors, and then it's going to just look ugly. So that's where we're at right now. I think what I'm going to end up using, so this is what I'm going to be using to do my cutting. I bought it whenever I was trimming the fenders on the Caddy, and I never got to use it yet. I haven't even put in an air nipple for the chuck, and I haven't even put the blades in. So I need to go ahead and do that and get to cutting, and then I'm also going to be using the Sawzall. I'm going to start marking some lines out here, and I'm going to start getting to cutting. Hopefully everything will fit in. I think once I cut that, I'll be pretty good. So another thing I need to worry about is these are the Dodge factory connectors for the AC condenser. I have them covered up for whenever I was washing it, and I know what you're gonna say. It's like, oh Lee, you washed it. Well, I ended up splitting it apart trying to make something work. because the intercooler and the air condenser, the AC condenser, bolt on together. So I really want to keep them together, but looks like I may have to split them up. I'm just gonna kind of approach this a little bit more cautiously. And oh look, looks like there was still oil in the I think that was transmission cooler. Yeah. Anyway, I'm babbling. It's time to get to work. Dude, this thing is awesome. I probably have like maybe 10 minutes cutting, and I'm already cut out the majority of that chunk. There it is right there. But yeah, so I mean, this thing just eats through it, and it uses half the air that my cheap old Harbor Freight ones do. They came with 2 different kinds of blades. You have a fine cutting blade and you have a coarse. So I went with the coarse. And let's see, might be able to focus on that a little bit. But yeah, it just took me a second to put the nipple on. Then you have to take off this cover to loosen an Allen screw that sandwiches the blade on. And then this is a little Allen right here, and that adjusts your guard. But yeah, check it out. I was able to cut all of this. So I still got a couple little pieces I got to work on. Then I also grabbed my rotary air file. Now this guy, he eats up a lot of air. But yeah, I was really surprised. This thing's done a really great job so far. And this is the first time I've ever used it. But I'm going to get back to work. This side should be no problem. I decided to go ahead and cut that wiring harness. Let's see, it looks like 3 wires in it, so I'll be able to get a connector. I'll try to find something that's kind of matches the old crappy, well, hopefully not as old and not as crappy style connectors, and just be able to plug it back in. For the time being, I went ahead and just moved it over to the side. I'm going to do the same thing with this side of the wiring harness. I'm just going to trim this guy probably about right there. And then yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pull it through, and then I'll get started and cut it on that one. But first I'm going to go ahead and file those sharp edges down, trying to make it a little bit more uniform. But yeah, hopefully I get it done before the storm comes in. It's about this time every year. We always have a storm coming in. You don't know if it's going to rain here or if it's just going to blow by or what's going to go on. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll keep you updated. Well, here's your weather forecast. It's raining. I got pretty far. I cut everything out on the passenger side like I was doing on the driver's side. But that's as far as I got. And I waited for the very last minute to try and do this before I called it quits. But yeah, everything got wet. Oh well, no big deal. It was kind of scary rolling a gigantic metal table back into a shop whenever there's active lightning going on. So, look, and it's starting to let up. Yeah, this is my luck. Oh well, what can you do? I may try to wait it out and see what happens. Up, here it comes. This is gonna be a good one. No. Ooh, here comes some more. Nope. I guess we're good. The engine is still waiting to be worked on. I had all the parts ordered. I think they came in. I got a box I haven't opened up yet. I'm starting to think that for the most part, the things that are leaking the most are the oil pan. And then I thought since this was kind of fresh looking, that was the tappet cover. But I guess this thing is not the tappet cover. It's underneath this. And so it's just like a maxi pad or something. It's supposed to absorb the oil or something like that. I have no idea. Maybe they put it on there to dampen the sound, which they do a really horrible job of. So, and then over here, we have refurbished transmission. It's got a clean bill of health. He changed all the seals in it. My transmission guy got in and out. But yeah, this shifter linkage, it was leaking, I think, pretty good. The oil pan, I think we already talked about. Those bolts were only hand tight when I went to go drain it. So I think that's one of the reasons why it was leaking so badly. Like, those bolts weren't tight at all. So it's waiting. Like I said, I really wanted to get the radiator and everything in before we drop this guy in. So we'll kind of see what happens here. Looks like it's tapered off a little bit. I don't know if I want to hang out in a thunderstorm though. Clouds are moving pretty good. It's mellow. I think I went and wasted all my time filling up that bird bath. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes or so. It is not letting up on the lightning. I think I'm just going to go ahead and call it. I did go run out there like an idiot and check and see the condenser fits in there great. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get the intercooler in there. We're gonna have to fab up some mounts, preferably whenever Jesus isn't trying to strike people down. But it's pretty creepy out here, not gonna lie. I'm gonna run out there just to grab what can rust. That's expensive. That's not the car. It's not. But we'll resume tomorrow morning. So you guys take care. I'm serious this time. Ooh, probably didn't catch that one. I'm turning off the camera. And it's off. Huh? Huh? Oh, wait. Is that what it took? No. Alright, screw you, Mother Nature. Alright, so day 2. Let's do a real quick recap of day 1. I got a nice little sunburn on the by cleaning the parts off that we were going to try to install today. Then, since I think tape measures are for wusses, I decided to go ahead and just see if that will drop right in. Well, it didn't. And so we had to do some trimming. And as we were trimming, and as I was just getting done opening this thing up, that's whenever the lightning storm started. And I have a giant metal table, and I had a bunch of stuff that can rust. I was like, alright, I'm just going to go ahead and get it all put inside, and I had to just call it a day. And then let's see, now we're back at it. And so I just tried to drop in the radiator, and that's when I realized that although it's actually shorter than the factory one, and it will sit inside these brackets right here, and the top ones will work as well. You see, those are the Cadillac style radiator supports that while it is shorter, it is a bit wider than the factory one. And what it was doing was it was hitting on these pieces of the frame on both sides. So those pieces are going to have to go, and then I'll just have to re-weld some gussets to complete it, so it'll be nice and stable. But I mean, these things are like built like tanks, so I don't know. I'm going to cut it out, and then I'm going to weld something else that's not going to be in the way. So what I did is I took my fancy cardboard template and just kind of put it up there using this hole that I punched in it as an alignment tool, and then just went ahead and marked my lines. So we're going to do some Sawzall action. I was really hoping that we were going to make progress as far as, like, you know, putting stuff on the vehicles instead of cutting and tearing stuff off, but yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to go that way. So let's give it a shot. I'll show you guys the aftermath. Okay, back to the scene of the crime. I've been at it. I've been working. I've been making space, and it's still not working. It now fits. It now clears. There's no problem here. Only problem is if I back up far enough, you can see that this guy angles that way. And so I'm gonna have to trim this guy up and take it back just a little bit so that it'll sit nice and flush. And then who knows if this was even going to be in the way. But yeah, I got both sides done, and this thing is just really kind of depressing, because what I'm dealing with is, like, I'm still just cutting and cutting and cutting, and it's like there ain't gonna be much left by the time I'm done with it. So here, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the radiator in, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So it's at an angle. The reason why it's being pushed over is because right there, that's where it's touching. And it's doing that on both sides. So I'm going to have to do some more trimming, some more cutting. But I think for this cross member right here that I cut out, I think I'm just going to go ahead and box that in. So for this guy right here, to finish off this brace, I'm going to go ahead and just put a piece of flat, just straight up. I'm going to take this curve completely out, and then I'm going to go ahead and box this guy in. I'm going to leave this piece here because it may come in handy for a bracket of some sort, but I'm just going to go ahead and finish cutting that guy out, and then just plate over it all the way up to it, because there's really nothing there that's gonna get in the way. So that's what I'm gonna do for both sides. But it's time for me to go. I got things I gotta do. I gotta put all this away, and it looks like it's gonna rain again. So alright guys, just keep at it. Sometimes you gotta do something else to keep your mind off it. So that might be the next video, but we're not gonna stop. Talk to you later. Bye.